Methodist Church in India is a Protestant Christian denomination of India. Its seat is in Mumbai. The Methodist Church in India, MCI, is an autonomous affiliated church in relation to the United Methodist Church of United States of America. Hello friends, I am Hebron Peters. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is a series on major churches in India. If you have not watched my previous video on Church of North India, then click on the description given below. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Methodist Church in India is one of the major church denomination in India. The church shares its roots with American Methodism brought by American missionaries, distinguished from traditional British Methodism. British Methodist churches and other Protestant denominations under Episcopal Anglican orientation joined Union of Church of North India. It is a member of the World Council of Churches, Christian Conference of Asia, the National Council of Churches in India and World Methodist Council. Methodism, also called the Methodist movement, is a group of historically related denominations of Protestant Christianity which derive their doctrine of practice and belief from the life and teachings of John Wesley. George Whitefield and John's brother Charles Wesley were also significant early leaders in the movement. It originated as a revival movement within the 18th century Church of England and became a separate denomination after Wesley's death. The movement spread throughout the British Empire, the United States, and beyond because of vigorous missionary work, today claiming approximately 80 million adherents worldwide. In addition to evangelism, Methodism emphasizes charity and support for the sick, the poor, and the afflicted, through the works of mercy. These ideals, collectively known as the social gospel, are put into practice by the establishment of hospitals, orphanages, soup kitchens, and schools to follow Christ's command to spread the good news and serve all people. In 1856, the Methodist Episcopal Church from America started the mission in India. The Methodist Episcopal Church began its work in India in 1856, when William Butler came from America. He selected Uttar Pradesh, then called Awadh and Rohilkhand, to work in and, being unable to secure a residence at Lucknow, began work at Bareilly. The First War of Independence broke up the work at Bareilly, but in 1858 Lucknow and Bareilly were reoccupied and the work of the mission started anew. By 1864 the work had grown to such an extent that it was organized under the name of the India Mission Conference. Additional stations were established in Awadh, Rohilkhand, Garewal, and Kumaon, and by 1876 the Methodist Episcopal Church had established work both along evangelistic and educational lines. Methodist churches were established in cities including Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, Kanpur, and Bangalore. Special revival meetings were held which led the church out of its boundaries and gave it a national status. In 1870 marked, on the invitation of James M. Thoburn, an acknowledged leader in the mission, evangelist William Taylor was invited to India to hold special revival meetings. On his arrival, he started his work at Lucknow and subsequently went to Kanpur. The work had thus far been confined to the territory east and north of the Ganges, but by that river, this move was the first step of expansion into all southern Asia. There came into existence Methodist congregations in Kanpur, Bombay, Pune, Calcutta, Secunderabad, Madras, Bangalore, Nagpur, and other cities. In 1873 the churches established by William Taylor were organized into the Bombay Bengal Mission. In 1876 the South India Annual Conference was organized, taking in all the territory outside the bounds of the original Upper India field. This was followed in 1888 by the organization of the Bengal Annual Conference, and in 1893 the Bombay and Northwest India Annual Conferences were separated. Between 1871 and 1900 the Methodist Episcopal Church expanded to become a national church throughout southern and southeastern Asia, with work carried on in 12 languages, extending from Manila to Quetta and from Lahore to Madras, and the Christian community increased from 1,835 to 111,654. In 1904, the field was again subdivided by the organization of the Central Provinces Mission Conference, which was followed by setting the work of Burma apart and organizing it as a mission conference. In 1921 two annual conferences, Lucknow and Gujarat, were brought into existence, and another division of the field was made in 1922 when the Indus River Annual Conference was organized. In 1925 the Hyderabad Annual Conference was separated from the South India Annual Conference. In 1956 Agra Annual Conference was separated from Delhi Annual Conference and Moradabad Annual Conference from the North India Annual Conference. In 1960 the Karachi Provisional Annual Conference was organized. Thus in 95 years from 1865 to 1960, the one conference in India had grown into 13, covering the whole of southern Asia. In this period the work of the Methodist Episcopal Church spread beyond India. Under the leadership of James M. Thoburn, Burma was entered in 1879, where John E. Robinson became the pioneer missionary, and in 1885 the work in Malaysia was begun by the establishment of a mission at Singapore, the pioneer here being William F. Oldham. In 1899, when the Philippines came into the possession of the United States of America, James M. Thoburn entered Manila and established the church. Homer C. Stuntz was one of the pioneer workers. All these missionary leaders later became bishops of the church. In 1870 the first missionaries of the Woman's Foreign Missionary Society of the Methodist Episcopal Church came. Two young ladies arrived that year, Isabella Thoburn, to work in the education of India's girls and women, and physician Clara Swain, to work in medicine, the first female doctor to undertake such work in Asia. Evangelistic work in the villages of northern India resulted in the baptism of large numbers of people from the deprived classes. In 1920 the Methodist Missionary Society was organized to supervise missionary work in India. In 1930 the Central Conference of Southern Asia elected the first national bishop. Since the independence of India in 1947 all bishops have been Indian nationals. Missionaries were sent to Borneo in 1956 and to the Fiji Islands in 1963. Since 1928 the MCI was engaged in union negotiations in North India. In 1970 the Central Conference voted against the plan of union with CNI, but dialogue with the Church of North India continued. But instead of merging it is now in communion church with CNI. In 1981 the Methodist Church in India was established as an autonomous affiliated church in relation with the United Methodist Church USA. The church is now independent in organization and has adopted its own constitution and book of discipline and articles of faith. The MCI runs 102 boarding schools and 155 village schools in which over 60,000 children are enrolled. 89 residential hostels cater for 6,540 boys and girls. The church also operates 19 colleges and vocational training institutions, 25 hospitals and health care centers, and many community welfare and development programs in the country. The top schools and colleges in India are Calcutta Boys School, Methodist High School Kanpur, Isabella Thoburn College Lucknow, Lucknow Christian College and Ingram Institute Ghaziabad. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share and comment. Hope you liked the video. Meet you with some other major Christian denomination in India in my next video. Goodbye for now. God bless you.